Hello, friends. Welcome back to Budgeting Over 40. We are here for a debt update, so let's jump in. All right, friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa, and we are going to wrap up our debt numbers as of the end of March 2025. And also at the end of this video, I'm going to go through what the numbers are or what progress we were able to make in the first quarter of 2025. So let's take a look. Our first debt that is up is the Apple Card. Now, this one got a little bit of love in the month of March. We started out at a balance of $1,565.48. I was able to make a $96 minimum payment. Now, this includes the debt snowball payment of $46 that I was paying towards my Chase card. That one is now paid off. So Apple will be getting $96 for the duration of whatever balance is on this card, and then that will roll into the next debt. So we were able to make that $96 minimum payment. Extra payment was able to be made onto this card as well for $294.99. There was no purchases to speak of because whatever was charged onto this card was paid back. There was no interest because I covered my statement balance from the month of February, so we didn't get any interest charge in the month of March. And we closed out the month at $1,174.49. Now, the next debt that's up is my Capital One number two card. This one started out at $2,767.12. I was able to make the minimum payment of $101. Interest, I'm going to jump over to column G, was $56.86. But in the month of March, if you were here for my budget with me for the last paycheck of March, I was able to do a balance transfer from this card onto my Discover card. So the extra payment that was made totaled $2,722.98. So of that amount, I transferred $2,713.35 onto my Discover card. So we were able to zero this card out in the month of March. Now, the next one that's up is my upgrade loan. Upgrade started at a balance of $23,336.91. I was able to do the minimum payment of $629.14. There was no extra payment, no purchases. The interest that was lost to this loan was $315.13, and we closed out March at $23,052.90. Now let's move on to the next debt, which is Lending Club. This one started out at $14,684.78. Minimum payment was made for $1,059.22. No extra payment, no purchases. The interest that I lost to this loan, $229.32, and we closed out at $13,854.88. Next debt that is up is my auto loan. This one started out at $30,810.38. The minimum payment of $939.23 was made. No extra payment or purchases. The interest that was lost to this loan was $146.30, and we closed out at $30,017.45. Now, my hope was to go below $30,000 mark, but it just didn't work out in the month of March, and I'm not going to beat myself up over that. Now, the next debt that is up is my student loan. This one started at $1,120.10. $40 is the minimum payment that was made. No purchases or extra payment was made, and the interest lost $4.04, and we closed out at $1,084.14. Next one is my 401k loan. We started the month at $18,634.14. Minimum payment of $408 was made. No extra payment or purchases. Interest lost to this loan was $83.36, and we closed out at $18,309.50. Now, the next debt that I have listed here is Discover, and I have it listed all the way down here on the bottom because of the percentage. There is 0%. So I did mention to you guys in that video as well when I did the budget with me for the last paycheck was that I transferred two balances onto my Discover card. So this card started out at a zero balance. There was no minimum payment because it was mid-cycle. What I transferred over to this card was a total of $5,796.63. Now, this comprised of the balance that was left onto my Capital One number two card, but I also charged my periodontist dental bill onto my Capital One number one card. It's not shown here because I charged the card, it cleared, and then I transferred it to my Discover card. So the amount that I transferred is $207, and I think it was 45 cents or 25 cents. I will put the number on the screen. And that balance plus the balance from Capital One number two total $5,796.63. Now, because I did the balance transfer, I did mention that there was fees that was charged because there is a 5% balance transfer fee. The two of them total $276.03, which I paid. So that is what I'm considering the extra payment. And the purchases, I'm considering the balance transfer amount. There is no interest because this is a balance transfer of 0% for 9 months. And not only that, it was mid statement. So I'm not sure how it's going to work, if they're going to charge me interest on what I paid for the transfer fees, or they're just not going to charge me interest at all because I did pay that amount for the extra payment. So we will see. I will let you guys know as the months go on because this card will close somewhere about the 17th of April. So I will know what they're going to do with that part of the transfer, which is the transfer fees. I'm not sure. So we closed out the month of March at $5,520.60. Now, there was something that I did when I did the budget with me. I wanted to pay some money towards this card, but I couldn't, you guys, because unfortunately, we have a funeral that we have to go to in the month of April. I had a niece that passed away very young. And because that happened, we had to redirect money because we're expecting to go to this funeral. She was living in Jamaica. She lived here for a number of years, but when she got sick, she wanted to go back home to Jamaica and she passed away recently. So we will be going to the funeral. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take a family trip because hubby is planning to go as well, and I will have to bring the kids with us. So right now we're just redirecting monies, trying to see how best we can cushion this blow that it's going to take to our budget. All right, the next that's up is my mattress firm. This is the last one. We started at $1,923. Minimum payment of $67 was made. There is no extra payment, purchases, or interest. And we closed out the month of March at $1,856 even. Now we're just going to go down and we're going to talk about the summary. The total balance on debts that we started in the month of March was $94,871.91. The minimum payments was made $3,339.59. Extra payment that was made $3,294 even. Purchases that were made $5,796.63. The interest that was lost in the month of March $835.01, and we closed out at $94,869.96. Now I'm just going to scroll down and we're going to do a summary update as to what has been happening with our debts since I started this journey, and then I'm going to show you the numbers as far as quarter one goes. October of 2023, the total debt balance was $123,217.48. As mentioned, last month's total $94,871.91. This month's total $94,869.96. And as you can see, we didn't make much progress in the month of March. The paid this month was $1.95. At least we didn't go up in debt, even though I did put an additional charge onto one of the credit card. We didn't increase in the debt because I have paid minimum payments in other areas. So the percent paid this month is going to remain at zero because we didn't make much movement. The overall debt reduction since we started, $28,347.52, and that's 23.1% change since we started. Credit cards, the starting balance was $6,255.60. We closed out the month with an increase of $8,551.09. So that's an increase of $2,295.49. For the personal loans, we started at $38,051.69. We came down to $36,907.78. So that's a decrease in personal loans of $1,143.91. For the auto loan, I have already discussed the starting and ending balance. So the amount that was paid off in the month of March, $792.93. Same for 401k loan. I only have one of those. So the balance that was paid, $324.64. And the student loan, we paid $35.96 towards that. So you can see here, that's the $1.95 that was paid. And these numbers are the starting balance for March and the ending balance as discussed before. So now I'm going to go down to the interest area and I'm going to show you because I have mentioned I do track the interest just so I know how much money we are dishing out to interest to these loans and credit cards, so on and so forth. I just want to know so I'm aware of how much money we're losing by having all this debt. I am comparing 2024 with 2025. So in March of 2024, we paid a total amount of interest of $1,346.30. And in the month of March 2025, we paid $835.01. So that's a difference in interest of $511.29 that we paid less than last year. So that's a good move so far. January was the only month that we paid more in interest than compared to 2024, but we have made up for that because from January, or I would say in quarter one of 2024, we paid a total of $3,674.38 in interest. And so far, we have only paid $2,715.95 so far in quarter one of 2025. So this is a good move. And this is the reason why I do track this interest because I want to know how much money we're losing. I want to sum up quarter one of 2025 just so you guys could see the progress that we've made. So for credit cards in quarter one, we did an increase. So because I did have to charge the periodontist bill onto the credit card and I wasn't able to cover it because, I did mention earlier, we do have to redirect our money to accommodate for, the death that we had in our family. So we increased our credit card debt just by $80.52. Okay. The personal loans, we decreased $3,303.30. Auto loan for quarter one, we decreased it by $2,324.08. 401k loan decreased by $850.93. Student loan decreased by $107.88. So the total we paid to debt in quarter one is $6,505.67. That brings us to our total as of the end of March, $94,869.96. I did mention that number previously. When we started 2025, the total amount of debt we started the year with was $101,375.63. So we did make some good progress in the first quarter. I was hoping to do a little bit more, but I'm pretty proud with this progress that we've made. So a win is a win, and I'm just going to count it as that. I'm not going to think about what could have done because it wasn't done. So we're just going to take what we have right here. We're going to move on to quarter two and see if we could do a lot better. and not only do a lot better with the amount of payments we could make, but also do a lot better with the amount of interest that we're losing. So, this is what it is, you guys. This is our debt numbers as of the end of March 2025, the end of quarter one. We are on a good track to reduce the debt, and I hope to continue this. We will have some bumps in the road, but we're just going to take our time and go over them smoothly and continue to track our progress. So if you are not tracking your debt, you guys, you need to track your debt just so you can be motivated by the numbers that are reducing. Or even if they're increasing, you could see where your problem lies and you could pivot and redirect and, come at it again. So I appreciate you guys for taking the time out to watch this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and come back for more. I ask that you do keep my family in your prayers. This is very sad. My niece was very young and, we are mourning. But I wanted to come in and give you guys an update as to how we're doing. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.